the two lies that you just spoke about were like the better lies, because there are two even more insidious lies that I saw going around that were getting pretty popular, and then one was referenced in a call that I'll ask if you think was real or not. The first lie, the really bad one, but not the worst one, was that the money that FEMA gives you is a loan. And so if you ended up taking money from FEMA, they're going to come back and they're going to make you pay it back, or they're going to take your house, was one. And then a second one I saw that was accompanied by just random videos, like 20-second shots of helicopters. The second one I saw was FEMA is actually showing up, but the only reason why they're showing up is to stop other people from saving civilians. That the helicopters and FEMA and everybody are showing up to destroy the humanitarian supplies that have been collected by other people, and to just hamper the rescue efforts for God knows what is even the reason they would think that would be the case. But yeah. Yeah, so I have heard those. Also, like I say, I'm thinking some of the other ones, like
I live.
Hurricanes Helene and Milton were actually a product of the secret government.
I will
Well, she said they, so the Jews, given her history of anti-Semitism. So we have no idea. Either liberals, the Jews, liberal Jews, Republicans, for sure. Also, that FEMA in order for the lithium deposits. Yeah. So it's just like one thing after another. But yeah, it's really dangerous and scary stuff. And it's actually that FEMA had a basically rumor debunking for the first time. These lies are so pervasive and they're all over the place that we actually have to go line by line. In fact, this has played a role in this as well, making a oil spill. This is huge, man. It's insane. We've not seen this sort of misinformation about natural disasters. This is like exponential. What would you think about that? I worry. We talked about this a lot. I don't know, my doomerism came up in the last in the canvassing battle we just did, but I don't know if we've already crossed the threshold. But the unification of Elon Musk, Donald Trump, corrupt members, not corruptly corrupted members in the House, and I guess like the
our enemies provoke us. We will answer.
To pump out misinformation. It's
we require more minerals.
I'm curious for your opinion. I saw on my subreddit that there was a
we need more minerals.
So, we face the zerg. I really enjoy
these. The father-in-law was basically refusing supplies from FEMA, saying that he didn't trust them, he didn't want to back loan, he was waiting for somebody else to show up. Real, I don't know if any more information came out about that.
Yes. So much essence.
Actually in North Carolina, and he was badly damaged by Hurricane Helene. And he has refused all FEMA help because he's a hardcore people, and he literally believes that if he accepts anything from FEMA,
not enough minerals.
So we
require more minerals. We need more minerals.
Understand it.
Not enough minerals.
Absolutely.
We require.
So sorry. You hear it? It's hard to even imagine it. I mean, he lost almost everything.
Watchful. I call upon Glevig, new leader of Yangdra's pack. Our enemies come. Strike swiftly.
Begging us to get him to step out, and he won't do it.
Evolution complete.
Let's do something I could say. I don't know, does he have access
change.
Electronics that would send him some information on this, and if he might. We've done all of that. We've sent him all the FEMA bulletins. We've sent him he's my father-in-law. And
We've located your main objective. You must destroy the shuttles headed for the central conduit.
Vice President Harris's official, campaign Twitter. So not to say that that call was legit, but it seems to me that if the vice president's own official Twitter page is regurgitated that it has some factual basis.
Glevik is strong again.
Is it really outside the realm of possibility for more people in these situations? I mean, Stephen, when we linked up
So
to canvas
much eyes must change.
said that my
All
late was a big fan of Donald
things
Trump.
change.
He died before the 2020 We have family members.
Change will come.
Where they're
The enemy is near. Kill.
The ground zero
So
of their
much
fear
essence.
that the Biden years would not help them
Fight, Glevik.
Our allies are in
Scans confirm the shuttle's destruction.
She sent me one.
Not
for
all will
crazy. It's one of the richest lithium
survive.
deposits in the world.
The Delnaga shrines nearby are reacting to Amon's armies. Researching them may provide useful intel, but we will need an escort.
This doesn't surprise me.
Research vessel ready. Let's get a team to that shrine.
Be real. But I mean, obviously, I'm always super paranoid that somebody's trying to. Say that, and there could be some lag here, which might be stumbling over each other. But I was going to say was, I think the other thing that's so important about this is it would be bad enough even if these were just regions of negative players peddling this disinformation or this misinformation. It would be bad.
A wave of shuttles is making its way to an active warp conduit.
Congress, you have Republican
It will not get past us.
Then the voters, I mean,
Essence flows.
in spite of with great power comes great responsibility. So you could hold it.
More Vespene required.
By Martin Taylor. And the reason, and not just Martin Taylor, but also again other MAGA Republicans, it's so important to note because as the election approaches, what we hear all the time is opinionates both sides.
The enemy has taken an interest in our base.
Our forces are under attack.
There is no Democrat like Martin Taylor. There's no
Our allies are in combat.
Yes, precisely. And the list goes on and on. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but the House Republicans are insane. Like, I have to tell people that, like, oh, they just recently came out. If it comes from the House Republicans, you cannot trust it. It is meaningless. Like, you can read the material and try to fact check it, but you can never take anything that comes at face value from the House Republicans. The stuff they publish in there is insane. It's absolutely insane. They remember, I'm sorry, but yeah, Jesus, holy Christ. Yeah. Well, and what's also funny too is I'll give you actually, we should not hang our hats on this. This is nothing. It's sad that this is even noteworthy, but it is in the political context. So there is a Florida freshman congresswoman who she represents one of Florida's districts in the United States House of Representatives. Her name is Anna Paulina Lumen. She's one of the more infamous incoming freshman Republicans. She actually hosted.
Why we lose internet?
Donald Trump into Hurricane Helene as Hurricane Helene was going on, and she signal boosted.
God damn it!
She said things like, Mr. President, this is just my opinion, but I totally agree with you that FEMA's not doing what they can to help the American people, and you need to do more, FEMA. And then she voted. Was one of the Republicans who voted against just weeks earlier additional FEMA funding. Number one, she voted against it, struck it down. Number two.
Goddamn Cox.
days after she signal boosted all these lies, she gets a phone call from President Biden. And apparently they have a really good phone call, such that Anna Paulina Luna goes on Twitter and says, hey, I just got off the phone with President Biden. He was really helpful. He said that the federal government's gonna foot the bill for debris removal and all these things. And actually, Speaker Mike Johnson, you need to reconvene Congress in order to pass additional FEMA funding. So again, it's staggering that a Republican congresswoman is actually for a brief moment doing her goddamn job, and actually acknowledging that the Biden-Harris administration is doing its job. And she's publicly calling the Republican speaker to reconvene so they can have additional funding that she voted against just weeks ago. And so to me, it's just the whole thing is so staggering. The last thing I'll say in response to that, Mike Johnson has reaffirmed that he will not reconvene Congress, and they're just going to have to deal with it when they go back into session. And this abdication of duty is something that I wish more Americans cared about. The election should not be this close.
It absolutely should not be this close. Also, when you not to hang our hat on it, like you said, I won't hang my hat on it. Okay. The question that I have then is, when something like that happens, and somebody wants to give credit to somebody for figuring something out, right? Like, imagine you have a friend who's been driving their car for 2 years, and then you take a ride with them to work, and you pull out the garage, and the car is like, and you're like, hey, and they're driving, man, you're like, you can switch out of first gear, you know that, right? And they've had the car for 2 years, and they go, oh, that makes it so much simpler. Like, am I willing to give the person credit for something that they probably should have known in the beginning? Like, when you talk about this call between Biden and the Republican lawmaker, did she just not know? Did she just have no fucking idea how FEMA or the president or any of the response? Does she not know how it even works? And then when Biden called her, she's like, oh, whoa, that's actually really cool. Mike, we need to come back in and talk about this. Crazy. We should actually vote for more. Like, what? Yeah. I don't know what it is. Some speculate that all it took, these people, I think there's a narcissism. This is not obviously religious narcissism, but I think there's a narcissism which underpins prominent MAGA Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sure you would agree. I think it was just the fact that she got a phone call from the most powerful man in the world made her feel like really warm and fuzzy. And he's basically just telling her exactly hey, listen, we are doing everything we can. We are going to foot the bill on debris removal. What can we do to help your district? Shit that's basically been said already, but the fact that she's hearing it from Biden's mouth. And here's where I wanted to bring this up to you. So after all this, Steven, she goes on your buddy Benny Johnson's podcast. Oh, God.
Okay, your Piers Morgan frenemy. And even Benny Johnson is praising Joe Biden. This is what I don't understand. The same people who are signal boosting the lies about Biden, not just about Hurricane Lee and everything else, are now great that leaders can come to it. Biden can work with Ron DeSantis, and that he can actually support a flamethrower like you. That's what he calls
Amon's servants have desecrated these temple grounds to empower a void shade hybrid. If it succeeds, it could destroy us all. You must strike down the void slivers to prevent its awakening.
It's a little bit laggy. It's because Josiah here is going to compete within the chambers of the Capitol building, deep underground, so the Discord connection is not the best. But, yeah, I'm also really big on the... when I was inviting people online, I would notice that some people would do this, and so I use the same standard now for lawmakers or people in media. You do not get to get credit 2 times. You can't do that. You can't get the virtue signal about how horrible a particular issue is, all of the righteous theory and the audience thinking truth to power, and then immediately correct yourself afterwards when you realize, oh, what I just said was total bullshit, and then be like, guys, yeah, this is actually not true. There's this, and then have your audience go, oh my God, so brave of you for like changing your mind and like following the facts, and this is why we follow you. Sure, you can do this like once or twice, but if this is like a pattern of behavior, it's literally, this is the hack that we all dreamed up in Catholic school in 5th grade when we're like, wow, there's the sacrament of confession. Like, what if we just go murder like 500 people and then ask God for forgiveness? Like, we should be good. We can just do that over and over again, right? And it's like, well, no, it doesn't work that way. Much the same way that you shouldn't get credit for being correct or for coming around or something if you were like intentionally lying in the beginning. No injustice whatsoever. Especially, this is their job, they're lawmakers. This is actually their job, right? You can argue maybe media misinformation or maybe they tweet or what they do on their social media accounts or their public statements maybe are one thing, but literally things like voting on FEMA and allocating funds to their district and representing their constituents in front of the body of Congress or to the president. This is
I
actually what
believe
they're
the enemy wishes
elected
to
do.
test
So-
our
but,
defenses.
sorry, yeah, we can go back and forth on this particular story. I hate that all of these are. This story alone is like a 4-year defining moment, but it'll just be another moment lost in time, like all the other insane moments have been. Yeah, sorry.
Well, no, I was gonna say, so the reason we spent so much time on this is because unfortunately this is all junk. I mean, obviously, again, there's the natural disaster component.
Encountering terran opposition, they will not survive.
Well, we just received information from an upcoming book by Bob Woodward. There was one person this upcoming book. And he says, he tells Woodward that Donald Trump was the most dangerous man in the world. Was in severe cognitive decline and fascist. Okay. Now, again, you want to talk about a 40-year defining moment, which should be a game changer politically, but no one on the right gets a single.
The hybrid has drawn most of the power from the temple. Shatter, avoid sliver.
At least your bomb, I think both your parents for that. No, your mom.
One sliver is down.
Who knew this man?
You have bought yourselves time,
Says
commanders.
he's the most dangerous man in the world. He's a fascist.
Infestation does have its strengths, you know.
18 milli calling from there is what she'll say. I know what she'll say. She'll say, "Oh, Millie's a rhino." That's what she'll say. That's what they say. You bring up the Woodward stuff and Nixon. Woodward also had the big book on Trump, but or the big expose. He wrote a book on it, I believe, right? I don't remember what it was called, but he wrote several. I think the most recent one was Harold. I'll be honest, when you bring up Woodward and recent stuff, the thing that I am seeing the most, and God, I wish there was a video.
We share your structure for a time.
But it was some of the quotes that he kind of
Alpha was making their move. We must be ready. Many protoss inhabit this world. Their lives are in danger as long as they remain here. Please, try to protect the evacuation ship after it departs.
there was a very funny quote from Biden about Netanyahu there. Yeah, assuming they're true or whatever, but
Upgrade complete.
yeah, I agree. I mean,
The evacuation ship is underway.
person against Trump. Nobody cares about Melania.
You have destroyed another
Nobody
sliver.
cares that his vice president, who had like the most conservative voting record of almost like anybody, in terms of disposition, the who I don't know who, you know, this tough warrior.
At last, we can evacuate everyone in this area now.
Made a prophecy when he said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single vote. I don't. I mean, it's a total application of military, pro-national, pro-patriotism.
We have an enemy attack inbound.
Career combat veteran who served under both administrations for both parties, and then appointed to his post. I should say, Donald Trump picked him. Donald Trump only picks the very best people, but again, who cares about that? He owns the very best people, and they'll stick with that. Except for the very best people who agree with him.
Do not be alarmed.
a Democrat. I think if Mark, let me put it like this. I think if Mark scandal that latch on to Harris, everyone would be talking about it. What Trump is this? Is that reality, but we also have to have some shared value set. This is part of the reason why I just understand more about so-called American values. How do you know what American values are anymore, given that 50% of the countries abandoned the values that they used to claim were American? So again, a notion of truth and responsibility, civic engagement, and with power comes responsibility. I don't know what any of that means anymore, and that's why I think so much is riding on this election.
Your allies are in
Donald Trump
battle.
is rewarded.
We share your structure for a time, yes?
What will it mean for the next election, even if he leaves office in 2028? I think we have gone past the point where there's a symptomatic so popular for a reason, but he also furthers the cause at the same time.
Upgrade complete.
You know, like there's definitely an issue right now with our society that's really to be so popular, but he also exacerbates it, makes it worse. Yeah, those are good talking points, though. I really agree with that. I recommend it too. Again, very good on that. You definitely have a shared value set. You definitely have a world of all necessarily. Give me a
Enemy forces are moving toward our base.
keep our eyes open to on the horizon. So I would just say a couple of things. So President Obama,
You have not enough minerals.
Infestation does have its strength.
Make your preparations. The evacuation will resume soon.
There's an amnesia surrounding Trump, and Trump tries to take credit for everything, but Obama passed off a pretty good economy.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Impact the election because Obama is still the most popular person in the Democratic.
Are you serious?
Far no. So I'm glad they're bringing up the big guns. I will say, with respect to the election, we are seeing an increasing number of right-leaning pollsters that tend to be more conservative in general, and it's being reflected in the poll results. So a lot of doomerism being spread. And listen, this is going to be a very close election unless it totally defies the odds. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a 270, 268, sort of split. And so we should.
Dude, what the fuck is going on with the internet? Jesus Christ.
Arizona and Pennsylvania just dropped today, and Trump is leading in Arizona, but he's behind in Pennsylvania. So just keep this in mind. That
The evacuation ship is heading out. Keep watch over it.
The Wisconsin canvassing events, the University victory, just rating these things are extremely important. People need to keep the faith, people need to turn out and vote. But right now,
Your allies are in battle.
yeah, I'm just constantly reminded every time I see these like things posted on X or posted on Reddit where it's like American population, candidate A or candidate B, which one is not Hitler? 82%. American population poll.
Your allies are in battle.
Cares about being a good person.
Excellent. Each felled void sliver gives us more time.
Which politician seems like they would murder a homeless person? And it's like candidate A, 12%.
That fight cost me quite a few forces.
Like, who would you vote for? And it's like, like, what the fuck? Yeah. Alright, well, hey, listen. Communicate the satellite internet communication.
Your allies are in battle.
Thank you very much. He's terrified. If he's terrified, he knows the superpower here.
Well done. Our vessel can ward more passengers aboard from here. We are poised for victory.
Really bad.
It seems our foes intend to attack us
like 2
directly.
days, there's a new, like,
I
what
must
should be an
warn you,
election and
the ship will be leaving shortly.
Yeah, everything.
The dogs thing by itself.
We are poised for victory.
The dogs thing? I don't even remember.
Our foe is utilizing protoss technology. The evacuation vessel is moving forward. I pray it remains safe.
To our weekly update.
Let us proceed.
Take a couple weeks off and then
Upgrade
Now this one, I am proud of.
Yeah, we have two
Your
stories
allies are in battle.
on the legal news. The first
You require. Your allies are in battle.
special counsel.
Carrier has arrived. Your allies are in battle.
do indeed recall that.
Yeah,
Your allies are in battle. Your allies are in battle. Carrier. Another sliver is gone. You are turning the tide, commanders. Your allies are in battle.
Lily, what are you doing?
The evacuations are complete.
You gotta go outside.
I shall rest easy knowing all are safe.
Alright.
I was once a vice admiral in the UED. This is simple by comparison.
in our system.
It appears the enemy is advancing. Prepare to meet them in combat.
Official duty to speak.
This is only temporary.
So, for the immunity decision report, Robert's basically defined three allies on could theoretically take, right? That an action would be something that is basically like essential and exclusively for you, the president. So you're only using the Congress, nobody else can use them. Your allies are in taking those actions. You should be beyond all form of criminal review. You can't even ask questions.
I suffered considerable.
It's not going to do damage to the executive that will prevent them from carrying out their job. And the
We share your structure for a time.
then kind of it's not.
You have driven Amon from this world and saved all who dwell here.
We're going to get into
Thank you, commanders.
the scary thing is, like you said, it's an official act versus an unofficial act. Going by the structure of how this ruling is, as much as I hate it, I can see a world where you do delineate, but the thing that's going to trigger me even more than that particular ruling is if the Supreme Court quibbles over these delineations, and I can already see ways in reading things that I'm going to get unimaginably triggered. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that I agree largely with your analysis there. I would say that the core executive authorities is a subset of officials, so there's kind of two it grounds out into 3 buckets, but they're kind of 2 categories, which is official, unofficial, and then core, and you could say non-core. And as you said, the core relates to something within the executive's preclusive and exclusive authority. And so, yeah, it grounds out into those 3 buckets largely. But things that are unofficial are not protected at all. And as you're saying, sometimes it can be hard to see what is official and what's not official, especially with respect to like actions that involve other government officials, but maybe not the purpose of what those government officials are around for. And so, yes, in this case, I could very much see some quibbling if this will get to the Supreme Court, and it almost certainly will get to the Supreme Court at some point. Yeah. However, what the Supreme Court asked Jack Smith to do is to have some kind of evidentiary base, some fact-based findings in order to conclude initially whether or not something is in one of these buckets or another bucket. You can imagine that makes sense, Stephen, because the whole point of the immunity doctrine is to have these kinds of incentives and to prevent these cases from coming to fruition before you go to trial, right? Like, we don't want to try the case to see if you can try the case. And so that's why the Supreme Court is pushing for there to be an evidentiary ruling early before the trial. Otherwise, the kind of immunity doctrine would be obviated if we're just having the trial anyway, and at the back end we have to find out whether something is official or unofficial. So when people are complaining, hey, how come Jack Smith is like, he is doing no more and no less than what the Supreme Court is asking him to do. And I disagree with people like Ellie Honig who say otherwise, and we can get into that at some other point in time. But yeah, any comments on that, on the timing, or what's being asked of Jack Smith?
No, I think I understand you.
Yes, and the unofficial actions, those are things that are outside of the outer perimeter of the president's kind of duties as the president of the United States. And so in this particular filing that Jack Smith is submitting to the district court in Washington, D.C., he is essentially making the following argument based on certain case law in the D.C. Circuit, that when a president is also running for office, when he's wearing the hat of presidential candidate as a candidate for office, he is doing things that are unofficial. But when he's wearing the hat of the relating to his
not enough minerals. We need more minerals. We require more minerals.
And work with private actors.
Glad you're here. Need a little help fulfilling a contract. Aim on shipping some nasty tech on board these.
See some problems there in that analysis, and just in the sense of, and this is a
party. Now, I'm thinking you'd like to see those trains go up in smoke too.
Duties, right? That the president might take an actual policy position in a matter because he knows think of positions on fracking or tariffs. These are things that I'm sure part of what they're thinking about is, well, it's going to help me in the campaign. I live. These things I think that people are missing. The court, and in this film, you can see that the Jackson. I will take lessons. We're not supposed to look towards purpose. We're not supposed to look towards subjective. I will collect. That's why we're taking all these crazy hypotheticals about SEAL Team 6. We're not actually supposed to look towards the literal motivation, the subjective motivation of the president. We have to look at the objective use of their power. Sort of remove it from the sort of purpose of the particular.
So the thing I would say is Roberts was entirely wrong. He's either wrong or the country's destroyed when he said that this ruling needs to be divorced from President Trump's case, and we need to kind of rule in a way that kind of stands the test of time. That's not just individualized to him, because we need to, because the ruling should apply to everybody.
We need more minerals.
We cannot, the country does not survive.
Not enough minerals.
It's just, it's unbelievable. The thing that worries me, and this is what worries me, okay, is because I feel, and I think Jack Smith clearly is DTG listener. Okay, thank you, Jack. I feel like Trump, there is a kill shot, or I won't use that word, I'm sorry, I want to figure something out. There is a guillotine knocking the head off of, okay?
We need
defense here, in my opinion, when it comes
not
to
enough minerals.
Because
we need more minerals.
So many people that get credit. People like Richard Donahue, people like Stephen Wolf, people like Jeffrey Rosen, people like Eric Hirschman. All of these guys were official White House people that when Trump came to them, they said,
Change
This
will
is
come.
insane. Which means that all of Trump's actions that he was taking towards his conspiracy to was done with private legal counsel.
I believe the enemy wishes to test our defenses.
I'm hoping this has to be like a very big kill
Not
shot.
enough
So,
minerals.
is that an official act or is it an unofficial act? Well, because you and I think reasonable minds can disagree. Well, there are some things that could be either one. But when Donald Trump is engaged in behavior,
Protoss essence.
no affiliation. This is the main thing, the worry that I have to cause my brain to explode. Is if you get people on the Supreme Court trying to argue that, well, actually, I think that these are official acts.
One of the trains is leaving its station now. Destroying it is your main objective.
And co-conspiring with and taking
My forces will see to its demise.
That he hired in a private legal sense. I feel like that's a huge issue for Trump, and it's going to be an easy way to overcome the presumptive immunity. I hope, because you're under so much private legal counsel. I hope.
Yeah, and you'll see because the special counsel is very aware.
Things change.
Objective intent. They're taking an objective.
I listen.
They're taking the facts of the.
I have been working on something.
The enemy hunts us, but they shall be the hunted.
By the way, a lot of these names are blacked out.
A main objective has been destroyed.
So yes, those
Killing a fleeing adversary. How familiar.
that would be some of the construct of the
Evolution.
and that is government officials here will be in this same time. But this is what's complicated. When a government official, something like council, literally action from their purview.
So much essence.
As a private, unofficial conduct situation. So yes.
Murder rests no more.
You literally have got to parsing out in certain communications to state
Many enemies. Things change.
COVID. And Jack Smith will say in the same conversation, we're
I must change.
COVID. However, when the conversation
Our allies are in combat.
about the campaign and efforts to insert
Looks like they've got another shipment leaving the station. Let's cause some delays.
that is unofficial.
Acquired more minerals.
Yeah, I think the thing that scares me the most about this being remanded to the lower courts is that there's this thing that Roberts wrote about the presumptive immunity. So these are the official acts that aren't like or exclusive powers of the president, right? And Roberts said that to challenge these, you would show that in doing so, you will not intrude upon the rigors of the
Devourer of great pack, lend your strength.
I remember when I get my phone spectrum.
Our allies are in combat. Objective destroyed.
Assuming there's something hugely wrong with it.
Not all will survive.
One thing that scares me about that presumptive immunity thing is this has never been ever. To be clear,
We need more minerals.
Okay? But because, by the way, this was the
Evolution
same complaint about, and I think it
completed.
was somewhat of a
Infestation does have its strengths.
Our enemies provoke us. We will answer.
Like this looks like legislation, right? You created this stuff,
We require more
this presumptive immunity, these core
Many worms ready.
Our allies are in combat.
in the history or the text of anything. There's nothing historical. There's nothing. This is the most living, breathing, constitutional, fabrication. Since we've never there's no record of a president even making statements like this. if we're being good faith and pretending that this is all written in good faith, wouldn't it mean a lot if the only president who has been
Heads up.
like this
Another
would
train's
say
in
as part of
transit.
his defense,
We
listen,
are in
if
combat.
you're gonna try me for this as a crime, I never call a state ever to check on check it on an election. I'll never do it. Well, the only guy who's been tried for this crime is saying that. How do you overcome the presumptive immunity to
Not
say
enough
that, like,
minerals.
I don't think it would intrude at all? Okay, well, the guy he said
Our forces are under attack. Main objective destroyed.
Never appeared before.
They picked the wrong fight.
To be clear, Jack Smith.
There's a train booking it on the bottom track. If you want to catch it, you're gonna have to move fast.
After the immunity all of the core
Our allies are in combat.
Department of Justice, Trump's use of the Department of Justice.
insane. Insane that it is a core power of the president to tell your DOJ head, to tell your attorney general, you need to lie, you need to be clear, that the evidence we can't use anymore is Donald Trump.
Many of my investment have fallen.
Can you lie?
We require more. Our allies are in combat. More Vespene
The
required.
enemy has taken an interest in our
And then them going,
base.
well, no, I don't think so. And then Trump going, oh, okay,
Evolution
this is
complete.
I'm gonna make him the head. I'm gonna make him do it, okay? Because he'll send out that letter and fucking lie. Okay? Your own DOJ is gonna go.
Our allies are in combat.
It's so important to understand this.
I call this the apocalypse.
Our allies are in combat. Evolution completed.
Core power to assassinate. It's like, what do you mean? It is a core power to military and potentially to do assassination, right? Yeah, but not to assassinate political opponents, right? And you see what they're doing there is they're
You're sending two trains at once now. Must be getting desperate. Or serious. Can't say I like the sound of either.
Maybe it does
allies
require
are
some
in
sort of review
combat.
or analysis to figure out if it's good or bad. But the immunity ruling says no, and this also pisses me off, okay? And this is why, for Justice Barrett,
Our allies are in combat. Our forces have met. Our allies are in combat.
Infestation does have its strengths.
Taking out about half the trains. Nice work, commanders.
Our forces, our allies are in combat.
which is absurd, because who's to say that Japanese wouldn't present this in a different way?
The main objective has been destroyed.
United States.
It could not adapt. We could.
Bribery,
Are in combat.
apropos, because there seems to be tons of bribery.
I will
Both Democrats
Our allies are in combat.
much essence to use for changing.
horrible because he has to accept that is the case. But there are some objective things the president is allowed to use deadly force for the purpose.
Enemy
of
forces are moving toward our base.
A could you come up with some protectual memorandum?
Our allies are in combat.
Unreliable is the president of the States.
Our allies are in combat.
All of that. Everything else. The court also held that conversations with Mike Pence about the certification of the vote is official, but they said that it's
Our
presumptive,
allies are in
that it's,
combat.
subject to presumptive immunity, which the special counsel you evidence.
Normally, I'd encourage robbing a train like this, but with these guys, it's probably safer to light it up.
Prerogatives of the executive.
Our allies are in
The
combat.
Alexander. I am glad you're out,
Our
Nelson.
forces have met the enemy in combat. Our allies are in evolution complete. Our allies are in combat. Main objective destroyed. destroyed.
Be taking official action since
It reminds me of duck hunting back on
Joe
Earth.
Biden at the time, he was
Our
only doing so
allies
much
are
as
in combat.
being a candidate for
Completed.
office. So that argument makes intuitive sense. That's a live precedent, and so he's making a big effort.
Our allies are in combat.
Things change.
Between the comments, defense, you can separate even between those about certification, which are presumptively immune, and we can rebut it, or the conversations about who won the election.
Our allies are in combat.
Those are kind of the buckets that the council is putting them into.
We have an enemy attack inbound.
Almost everything is unofficial. Now, what is the big so what? Number one, it's 160 plus pages of
will come.
Our allies are in
Section
combat.
1. Everyone should take a look at it. This is the that is able to and it is killing. There are some
Our allies are in combat.
Mother rests no more.
Our allies are in combat.
This is what we get. Now this one, I am proud of.
Our allies are in combat.
We're going to declare victory, even if, regardless of who wins. We have other
Our allies are in combat.
January 6th.
Our forces are under attack.
So this,
Our allies are in combat. Our allies are in A main objective has been destroyed.
that it is at all
I cannot be stopped.
that Trump thought that he won the election.
Client's willing to pay extra if you take out the trains on the bottom track. You take them out, Amon's mad, and I'm happy. Win-win.
Where it is abundantly
A main objective has been destroyed.
Say good night.
Our allies are in combat.
He sounds like Starcraft.
Rise, primal.
He said, that is an ignition.
Bonus objective complete.
And he's talking
It seems our foes intend to attack us directly.
11,000 votes. All of this is part of a large effort that spans from before even the election happened. They're no matter what, and when they knew they lost, they
Our
planned
allies are in
and
combat.
make every American
I will collect.
impossible for them to vote for Donald Trump with this rare mission.
He also
Our allies are in combat.
we're reading
Our allies are in combat.
Infestation, double the power, yes?
They can't have much cargo left. Keep it up.
filings of
Our allies are in combat.
who's the big
Lies again.
Our allies are in combat. Objective destroyed.
J6 committed that's 830 pages.
Escape was never an option for them.
It is
We
whatever
are
you read in the
a
Jackson
tide.
indictment, just
The
know
enemy
the hardest
is
thing to put together the case
driftwood.
against Trump is how much do you cut? Because there is so much more beyond what's even presented. It is beyond a reasonable doubt. There are no reasonable minds that could disagree on whether or not there was an intentional plan the entire time that Donald Trump used. I have not sat through that kind of related. I went through an editor yesterday. I finally found somebody, or 2 days ago, to put together my big J6 video that I'm working on, or whatever. Yeah, and I went through, and it took me about 6 hours to get through. And every single person I've walked through this stuff with, at the end, is like, "Holy shit, this is actually fucking insane." And he's like, and he
1,000 times worse.
yes,
Watergate.
and he stopped me. It's not even close. Watergate is What, the FBI? What did they do? They broke in and stole some things that the president knew about or something? Like, it's so minor compared to this. It's like, who cares? It's so insane. And the worry is, I feel like J6 will be 10 years from now, like, oh, like the riot or the protest or whatever, LOL. And then that's it. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah, so just to put a pin on it, I encourage everybody to read section 1 of this filing. It'll give you the full story about all the efforts, and we'll put a link as well, an annotated version of the brief, which will put you at least most of the names under that are redacted, so you can follow along and see how horrible this plan, this attempted self-coup, this eventual insurrection was. And just to be clear about what the theories here are, Trump tried to steal your vote. Trump tried to subvert the electoral count, and Trump tried to obstruct an official proceeding by, one, lying to state officials and trying to coerce them to undeclare their electoral votes and to declare them for Trump Pence. He
I think you're just
tried to have a fake elector.
Food on me.
Then he tried to enlist Mike Pence into taking
I love you,
the
Liz
election,
Mayer.
using his ceremonial role to like just declare him the winner. And then fourth and finally, he got his, and I would say incited, an insurrection against the United States Capitol on January 6th, both in his speech in the Ellipse and specifically, and this is irrefutable, when he was aware at around 2:20 something p.m. that the Capitol had been breached, that Mike Pence was under attack. So he already knows there's violence. It's after the Ellipse. He already knows there's violence. He already knows there's a breach. He sends a tweet inciting his mob, justifying them. That is incitement of insurrection that was ongoing. And for that, I believe that Jackson should have charged insurrection. He didn't. But even without that, I think there's plenty here. And even without the official acts, there is so much evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump is a criminal.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's insane. It is absurd. And I guess we will see how it all plays out. I think we can argue about this. I think he should have charged incitement as well. And going over everything, I can understand why you'd want to stay away from it, but I feel like so much political conversation about hairy topics is like, here's like the spectrum of actions. It's like this, and then you have like, this is like, it's a fuzzy area here, but we're like way over here, and it's like, okay, whatever the fuzzy area is, we are way beyond.
100%. I see that we're running out of time, so
yeah, let's give me one more story or something we should be keeping an eye open on, or
yeah, keep an eye, all of you, both on these filings, but also what's going to happen out of X and Twitter. There are a lot of legal stories that are coming out of X and Twitter and Elon Musk that I think deserve your attention. If you guys, I don't know when you're going to get this video, but we'll be talking about it in our spaces about the dossier, the First Amendment that was.
I love you, Winner.
The fact that
you'll get to lick a little bit later, okay? Just a little bit later.
Fancy seeing you here. Guess it's my lucky day. Dominion's hired me to destroy some trains carrying dangerous Mobius ordnance. Seeing as how Amon's a mutual enemy, maybe you'd like to step up to the plate. I could use a partner or two on this.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that in a bit. Hopefully
you must construct additional pylons.
Okay, cool.
Did you see the New York Times thing that Elon communicated to Trump before they even took it down? I don't know if people are still in my talking points enough. I don't know if they are. But if they are, whatever. I saw that 4chan green post, or the green tag, finally, where they're like, how should the fits in your brain? And satellite is helping Trump. Like, what the?
We're gonna let's do it. We're still gonna like probably 2 or 2:30 or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my thing with Letterboxd, and then I'll run upstairs and start streaming. So,
yeah, cool. Later.
Love you. How are you doing? Catch us up. What's been going on in the past couple weeks in world affairs? And by world affairs, I mean either Israel or Ukraine.
I mean, I need to catch up with the boss. So, I mean, it was breaking news, I guess, just a few days he was killed in an airstrike on a handful of apartment blocks in Beirut, in the Dubai suburb. I think Israel used 80 plus tons of bombs to get rid in his underground bunker. So he's gone. Almost the entire leadership ranks of Hezbollah, the top commanders, his potential successors. A bunch of them have been taken out as well. Definitely one of his potential successors is gone. Maybe a second one. They have just been one.
Shadow Guard available.
Operation from Israel into South Lebanon is continuing. The death toll is something over 2,000. The ministry of probably don't even know. So it looks like what was termed to be a limited operation. Limited operation is a very
So Hezbollah is
The enemy's attack will be upon us soon.
Although now they have a few seats in the actual Lebanese government, they are largely considered to be supported by Iran. They do a lot working with Assad in Syria, and obviously they are an instigator to the north of Israel. And they've kind of been fighting back and forth since October 7th, since the Gaza war began there. And now Israel is like taking, I guess, is it a full-scale like ground invasion? They're just trying to push more north on the river to have more area where they can't launch rockets from, or has Israel said what their stated goal is for this particular attack, or?
Got eyes on your objective. Blow up that train before it reaches its destination.
Not really at all. They've said that their goal is to return the displaced 60,000 people back to their homes in the north. Whether it means they want to push Hezbollah's military the rest of Lebanon. It could be that they want to push them north, although
remain vigilant.
They're the largest non-state military.
Enemy inbound. Must defend Hive Cluster.
The
A main objective has been destroyed.
big ones in the Levant.
Satisfaction achieved.
Hamas will have disputed. Hamas will lose funding from Iran if they go somewhere Syria.
Shadowed.
Very, very linked with Iran. They're also organic. They're also part of the Lebanese community. They're the Shia community. People who are so they are integral to Lebanese society with or without Iran's support. They depend on them. The idea of pushing them out is kind of flawed because the Shia community in South Lebanon is always going to favor Hezbollah politically. So it's not so much about pushing them north, it's about disarming. That's really the concept that they're talking about. The reason people don't want to retreat is because it sounds like they retreat. Well, disarming means you're going to go house to house, find every weapon stockpile you can, destroy it, capture it, engage.
Here we go. Knock that train over and raise some hell.
Afterwards, it basically means that although it's only 10% of the country, houses like 500,000 people. A lot of those houses
You have not enough minerals.
by Hezbollah for
Shadow Guard ready for deployment.
So they can call it a limited incursion if they want, but limited means you're literally going to hundreds of towns and villages and trying to take out stockpiles and fight with a very still, despite everything, a very battle-hardened group. People who have been fighting since some of these Israeli soldiers were still like neighbors. Right? They've been fighting in Syria since 2012 and 13. Some of them have still been fighting since 2007. Irreparable damage, so.
Does Lebanon, does the actual Lebanese government have a military? Or is it just the...
Main objective destroyed.
Most powerful militant group in
You cannot flee from what you cannot see.
Where Hezbollah Also, is it Hezbollah or Hezbollah?
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah. Is there any
There's
world where
a naming convention you can pronounce it.
Sure. Is there any world where Hezbollah is so weakened that the Lebanese military can remove the military off of Lebanon, or is that accurate?
Enemy attack imminent. Prepare
The only way I
defenses.
think that happens is if Hezbollah, because of their overview, they might need enough support to build up that's going to lead to a lot of backlash if they're ever seen to be doing that with Israel. So that's a big problem. They don't want to suffer the same fate as the South It is possible that so
Upgrade complete.
as far as militant groups go in Lebanon, Hezbollah is really the only big one. There are still some.
Normally, I'd encourage robbing a train like this, but with these guys, it's probably safer to light it up.
Just Hezbollah and the Lebanese army, but the Lebanese army is famously corrupt, quite useless. They politically have very low incentive to come off as antagonistic to Hezbollah because of
Units encountered. Need detection. I am the blade of the night. Shadow guard available.
There's a train booking it on the bottom track. If you want to catch it, you're gonna have to move fast.
Objective destroyed. Destruction confirmed. Enemy loss severe.
There's a big contrast between this and the last time Israel tried to kill Nasrallah seriously was in 2006. They gave a warning to the people of Dahia, South Beirut, and they were going to bomb a bunch of key locations. They had a few targets.
Hive cluster targeted for attack. Eliminate incoming enemies.
A bunch of people evacuate. They strike these locations, and
Your allies are in battle.
Nasrallah appeared on TV. A couple of hours later, the TV station had been broadcasting from a discrete location. So they bombed this place like 20 times in different locations, but constantly broadcasting.
Trains are leaving both stations at once. I guess they're trying to stay on schedule.
It was a very, So Nasrallah, after the strike, appears on TV a few hours after it's happened.
Must construct additional pylons.
Says to the citizens of Beirut, go and look out to the Mediterranean, go look out to sea. We are going to bomb the ship that just...
Taking out about half the trains. Nice work, commanders.
He was going to do something militarily. Just happened to run and actually did it.
A main objective has been destroyed.
So that massive...
They could no more evade our wrath than their own shadow.
Later on in the war only helped with that. To the point that people who historically opposed them became massively in favor. Sunnis would start housing Shia refugees in their houses.
Let our enemy know our
Some very wealthy Christians were starting to so
The enemy is en route to our base. Nerazim, ignite your blades.
given that they've been so militarily humiliated, and Nasrallah is... You'd think for people like Nasrallah might be easy to replace because there's not much
State thy bidding.
environment. He was quite
poor yet
I am the
prominent
voice
accent,
of the
joke,
eclipse.
funny, but charismatic, and he's been there for a while. He's been for a while.
Looks like they've got another
So,
shipment
he was
leaving the
able to
station.
build up
Let's cause some
support
delays.
even from outside of traditional Shia communities. If you look at his replacements, they're like, it's not even
I
like
am the
anything.
voice of the
I don't even
real
really get that
one.
high in the news.
Destroyed.
He was part of a resistance camp or whatever. And
Well
I think
done.
Came into
It has fallen.
Came in to blow something up, and I think the great military managed to defend it. But the King of Jordan was willing to give
You
Arafat
require my
credit,
skills.
and all of the Palestinians and surrounding Arabs saw Arafat, said to him as, wow, he actually beat
I'm
that
here
military that's around
from
him.
the
He was able to beat
shadows.
fighters, and that was like Arafat's like crowning moment where he started to become one of the representatives of the people in Israel.
Yeah, it does show you how even minor military successes, because they're against an army that is so historically dominant.
Prepare yourselves. The enemy is inbound on our base.
But it also shows you how it doesn't
From the
always last.
shadows,
So
I
there was a poll
come.
from the Arab Barometer not long ago, polling in Gaza and the West Bank. And whilst Hamas have retained a lot of their popularity in the West Bank throughout this war, I think the last poll had Hamas at like 6%.
We
really, really low.
state
Now it's sort of Hamas re-emerging in these areas as the IDF starts to leave and move around. Hamas is starting to re-emerge as these kind of almost
You
like
require the shadows.
their legitimacy has been really, really
shadowed
path. Even though it was only a year ago when they
For the reckoning.
which is the biggest Palestinian military achievement ever. I think so. Yeah, it doesn't seem to last very long.
Main objective destroyed.
April, they launched a bunch of missiles at
Evasion
Israel.
unsuccessful.
Warned the
Poor
Americans
planning.
so everything was upset because
Client's willing to pay extra if you take out the trains on the bottom track. You take them out, Amon's mad, and I'm happy. Win-win.
there was some damage. The only person who died was we got killed by the case.
A main objective has been destroyed.
Show you that
None slip through the fingers of the Nerazim.
because they can't do nothing.
Your allies
They
are
have
in
to do
battle.
something, but they also don't want to do enough to provoke legitimizing a strike that might actually really hurt them.
Your allies
So
are in battle.
really big question right now. There's so much. I guess we could talk about the internal.
Well done.
That's gonna
Bonus
change.
objective
I
complete.
thought- real quick, I wish that
Oracle
and
perceiving.
man, dude, I just recently had a couple.
Our pylon is under attack.
Because
Your allies are in battle.
The enemy moves against our base. Show them the folly of their
quite a
ways.
bit, but she, all the
Generation commencing. Heal armies.
the Israelis
Is under attack.
they've never wanted anything.
I reckon they're running out of hardware to ship.
There's no
Almost
reason
got
to
them, commanders.
focus them through and through, and it's just been this horrible control.
Main objective destroyed.
Our enemy has been brought low.
Murdered indiscriminately Arabs, and they've wanted to. And it's just like,
That's a done deal.
looking
Been a
at the
pleasure
Iranian
working with
attacks
you.
on Israel, I feel like it's a really big deal that you have people like Saudi Arabia and Jordan that are as
digging on in there? What you digging on? Or you having a good time digging? We'll get you some food, huh? I submitted a work ticket, but I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do up until then. Guess I'll move my the working at.
assisting with the interception of the missiles. There is, at least among leadership, there is like a common united purpose. And in the population of Israel itself, you do have 2 million, you know, Arabs or Palestinian Arabs, who are living basically peacefully inside that country. Not to say that it's totally devoid of crime or anything else, but there, you know, there was no third intifada, there's no like mass uprising, there's no mass crime, and the West Bank is more or less like pretty chill as well. Although you have had since October 7th, you know, your moments for sure. I wish that Israel could just capitalize on that more and show like some kind of willingness to take a leadership role and saying like, hey, look, like we are all kind of like getting along together. I feel like, you know, the MBS, I feel like the Jordanian monarchy feels like the Arab leaders have taken more steps in asserting that, in affirming that. And it feels like Netanyahu and the Israeli government just hasn't taken as big of a step in saying like, look at our partners, look at our allies, like look at, I don't know, maybe I've missed it, but I wish that they could shore up, you know, those differences more, because that Palestinian issue inside of Israel is just, it's a vector through which so much instability is caused, and it felt like it doesn't need to be that way, but yeah.
Yeah, I really think they do that at their own peril in a way, because there's always an example that comes up in peace process debates when people talk about the Arab Peace Initiative 2002. There's like an example of an Arab offer from every Arab League nation, and the Palestinians saying that we're going to offer you this two-state solution outline, and if you just come to the table, like, that would be a really good gesture, and this will be the thing that Israel turns down famously, because Sharon just says it's a waste of time. He says it doesn't trust it. And I think even...
We had, what was it, yesterday, I think we were...
Purifiers were born here, converted from the personalities of great warriors. But one of them was merely a prisoner, a Tal Jareem. His AI personality managed to infiltrate our systems and turn them against us. I can undo the damage, but I will need your help.
Actually, before Olmert did his 2008 deal with the Baas, he did actually give a little bit of a signal towards the RP.
We need more minerals.
Meetings, but the problem was
we require
meeting that they had.
Not enough minerals.
2 or 3 people turned out.
We need more minerals.
States that had already made people do it.
We
and they couldn't even come with an Arab League mandate. They just came with it. So it kind of showed that this was really just maybe a bit of a troll.
Not enough minerals.
Like an empty gesture, more like. But again, the problem is that to the rest of the world, Israel doesn't know how to respond to olive branches that come from the Arab states.
We require more minerals.
Potential for multiple toxic nests.
Not enough minerals.
Say that we are offering guarantees to Israel in exchange for a Palestinian state. We're offering to guarantee security, and Israel's only solution to any of these problems is just go there, destroy people, destroy the military, go there, destroy someone, go there, destroy someone, just kill, kill, kill. And he gave this really powerful speech about that. And the Israelis can easily say the famous Menachem Begin quote. They could just say, you know, I like guarantees, but I also need a guarantee that guarantees the guarantees. Jordan's not going to get lost until they stop firing. But the fact that there's not even any attempt to try to start something with willing Arab partners is just something that Israeli right-wingers have done since the last 20 years, and they do it completely.
Not enough minerals.
I think it's honestly just, I think actually Balin, I read him saying this, is that the problem is that
we need more minerals.
Leader comes with any kind of olive branch, they don't know how to react to it. It's like they just think it has to be either a lie or...
I have restored this location, but there are still other security terminals remaining.
Mandatory elections coming up soonish for Israel, right?
I think so.
The Tal Jareem has altered the holographic security forces to resemble warriors he fought when he was still alive.
Yeah. So
looks like the enemy is heading for us. Let's go say hello.
Conducted the second strike in Israel and did actually cause a little bit of damage.
We are unending.
Many toxic nests ready. Deployment advised.
Our allies are in combat.
Warning. I will set out for the next location shortly.
Ready your forces. We need to keep the enemy off this thing.
It might not come anytime.
Transport en route.
But it is expected. The last time that they've been around was very slow. This time I think they're expecting something more. But there's this whole
We
question that people
require
are
more
asking is,
Vespene
this
gas.
might be Israel's big opportunity to get
Evolution complete.
people are asking why they would do this. There's a few reasons I actually uncovered looking into it. Is that
Analyzing
everyone
corrupted
seems to
security
agree
data.
that Iran is
Stand
enriching
by.
their nuclear capabilities, their uranium enrichment, is happening at a higher scale than you would ever expect for legitimate civilian use. So we know that's happening.
Hostile
Apparently,
forces have been deployed to my
CIA
position.
Director Bill Burns, if they ever decide that
More
they want to
Vespene
start to
required.
enrich enough material for weapons grade use, that would be picked up by
Our
other
allies
intelligence.
are
The enemy's biomass will provide us
Even if they won't take them
resources.
about a week to do so, and it will take them months to weaponize properly.
Yeah, so I would have to I'd have to look this up again because my knowledge is pretty outdated, and maybe I misread something before for just saying, low conviction thing. But my understanding is that you can't enrich uranium in your basement. You have to have these really large centrifuges, the infrastructure and the energy required and everything produced with everything in the world would see you doing it. You can't do this covertly.
More overlords required.
Restoration efforts have reached the halfway point.
So everyone kind of understands that if
Our
they start moving
allies
towards
are in
proper
combat.
weaponization, then we get to stuff. The consensus is that Israel immediately sees that as so that's the idea.
This
So there's no
suppression
point
tower
worrying
was once a useful defense.
excuses.
Now it is in the way of my work.
The problem is that
Kindly dispose of it.
it still doesn't really explain why Iran even. Why
This
they're
is just a
doing it,
transport. It has no shields to defend me from these strikes.
they're doing it at their
Only
own
25% of the corruption remains.
But, yeah, Iran is
Systems work halted by tower strikes.
They've attacked countries that have nuclear power.
Overlords.
They've attacked Israel and Pakistan. So deterrence not really a reason. The more difficult internal issue with Iran, which is actually a little bit scary, is the radicalizing of
Suppression tower down.
the IRGC. So the IRGC is
We need more
they
minerals.
control about half of the Iranian economy, about 200,000 members. They
Just so the IRGC is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is
We require more
foreign
evolution
part of, it's
completed.
the foreign branch of the Iranian military. And I believe that the Iranian Guard Corps has allocated to it official revenue streams that the government I don't really think would touch.
Data secure. This security terminal is clear of corruption.
The IRGC, that the government doesn't even touch either, so they're very that was the that's the branch that
Potential
Our allies are in combat.
must use.
Yeah, and then more specifically, they have the IRGC Quds Force, which is the one that's devoted to all the attack against Israel. The problem with the IRGC, though, is that they have
Our allies are in combat.
with disloyalty, that a lot of their citizens really dislike the regime. That's been the case for decades, and it's also actually been a
I am
problem
about to
within
head to the
IRGC.
third terminal.
So, in the 90s, when Iran had the presidential election,
Advancing toward the next terminal now.
so what the IRGC
Hive cluster targeted for attack. Eliminate incoming enemies.
they invested so much into
Interesting.
education.
One of the data cores has not yet been breached by the rogue
Since
Tal'Darim.
the 2000s, I think.
If you could
60%
recover these
of the
personalities,
IRGC
the
is
purifiers would be grateful.
The problem is that
Accessing security terminal and beginning data reset.
now the issue is that rather than being disloyal anymore, the newer generation of IRGC
The Tal'Darim still thinks he can destroy me. Can you prove him wrong?
more radical actually than myself. So now the issue is that in the last presidential elections,
Our foes shall become our resources.
the leader was
What a relief. Another personality saved.
for someone more radical.
Combat.
Talisk, pinnacle of Zerg evolution.
This purifier is free from harm.
The issue now is that they're
I recommend taking out that suppression tower. Quickly.
firing and producing a much
Thanks
more
to your
radical version
diligence,
of the movement.
the personalities of these warriors are safe.
Feel comfortable with.
Tower attacks have temporarily disabled my systems.
You want to suppress protests and
Combat.
open fire on demonstrators as they
Our
fire.
allies are in combat.
But it's not security if you're trying to contain yourself. from a regional conflict, from escalating a regional conflict.
Our forces have met the enemy in
The regime
combat.
is just not responding to the way that it's supposed to. So, whilst people from
Tower destroyed. Good work. I will have to ask for more of
the
it.
other issue, which means
I
that
have regained control of 50% of our systems, but it hasn't been easy.
from the youth.
Enemy suppression tower activated.
Successfully quelled maybe going to be
Our forces are under attack. Not enough
I have overridden 3/4 of the Taldarine's alterations. Hold fast.
Do you have any other final
It's
things for
time.
us,
The
or
tower
what
has
things
ceased
keep
its
in mind, I
fire.
guess, for the future?
At least
Anything
something
that
is
we
going
look
right.
forward to?
looking forward to. U.S. supposed to be
evolution completed.
the war in the Middle East is probably not going to get any less bloody anytime soon. This idea of
Despite the odds, everything has been fully reset here.
Enemy stunned right now.
They exaggerate how much they see. But at the end of the day, these groups have always been far better at killing Arabs in Syria, Iraq, Lebanon than they ever have been.
More Vespene required.
Hopefully that's something that becomes more people going forward.
Alright, well, thanks for the update. Hopefully I'll catch up with you next week. And yeah, talk to you later.
I must proceed to the next security terminal soon. Make your preparations.
Zerg will guard objective with lives.
Moving forward.
Completed.
Yeah, I'm not even excited to hear about that. Yeah, Jesus. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go stream soon. I love you. Stay safe. Take care.
For next week, is anyone else?
Enemy forces incoming. Slay them to the last.
Metamorphosis complete.
Restoring original security protocol. Try to be patient.
Our allies' base is threatened.
I require aid. System defenses have been activated against me. Detecting another suppression tower.
Our forces have met the enemy in combat.
Tower destroyed. Good work. I will have to ask for more of it.
At least 2 battleground states. This to me might be the October surprise.
System takeover is halfway complete. And yes, I am doing my best. I recommend taking out that suppression tower. Quickly.
Our forces are under attack.
The tower has ceased its fire. At least something is going right. My work here is nearly finished, if you can believe it. Enemy suppression tower activated.
That penguin is the
Our forces have met the enemy in combat.
Suppression tower down. System integrity verified. We are back online at this location.
Is now very good for Republicans. This debate, chaos in the Middle East, the port strike, and of course the cleanup in North Carolina. This is something obviously in October, if this continues, that's going to bode well for Republicans.
Not enough Vespine.
Monkeypox runs them up. Who knows? There's actually something that a war, a strike,
Our allies
The
are
enemy's
in combat.
biomass will provide us resources.
Finalizing route to final terminal. Try to stay focused.
Shell-shocked and desperate. Most people would say these world events happen close to the election.
The transport is in motion. There are more personalities in the data core here. Try to reach them before the enemy does.
Our allies' base is threatened.
Showing areas affected by hurricane.
You have protected another of my brethren.
They can control the lie and say it cannot be done.
This personality will never be lost now. Fortunately, all of the personalities from the data cores were preserved.
Evolution completed.
Initiating security system rebuild. This will take a while. The Tal'Darim still thinks he can destroy you. Can you prove him wrong?
More Vespine required.
Detecting another suppression tower. I am unable to progress due to the tower's interruption.
It's time to send I've got the enemy's one. Kill them.
Detecting another suppression tower.
Our allies are in combat.
Tower destroyed. Good work. I will have to ask for more of it. Restoration efforts have reached the halfway point. The tower has ceased its fire. At least something is going right. Suppression towers are powering up in several locations. Suppression tower down. I have overridden 3/4 of the Tal'Darim's alterations. Hold fast. I am unable to progress due to the tower's interruption.
Our forces have met the enemy in combat.
Tower destroyed. Good work. I will have to ask for more of it.
Our allies are in combat.
Potential for multiple
Our forces are under attack.
Well then, that's over.
Oh, 69/4/20. The life we could have led. Now, Zuckerberg did give $400 million to organizations for voting infrastructure during the pandemic. A good portion of that money did go to Democratic precincts. Donald Trump did lose the election, so election interference. But not illegal. And obviously Musk isn't getting it.
Elon Musk is offering hourly pay to anyone willing to encourage people in swing states to register to vote. He stated, quote, for every person you refer who is a swing state voter, you get $47. Easy money.
He's giving everybody $47 million. When I think of the prison Donald Trump is going to send that sweet jumping bean of a genius to, it kills me. If Trump finds out about this, it's not going to be pretty.
How good a guy is Elon Musk?
What the f? Wait, that's not election interference because he's for you? Well, what else do you think is election interference?
The Donald Trump biopic, The Apprentice, does not always portray Donald Trump in a flattering light, and the Trump campaign threatened to sue its filmmakers, calling the film pure fiction and election interference.
Oh, come on! That's election interference? It's election interference. You gotta be a little bit fun.
This is Corporal Faraday of the Coral Defense Force. Amon's troops have taken the city. They're summoning void shards everywhere. Once they activate, those shards will decimate August Grad. We need to destroy each of them before that happens. Don't let me down.
I don't worry. Stan, if you were to put his face through one of those filters on TikTok that show your appearance right before you die. I don't worry. It's... Yeah, that's fine.
Not enough minerals.
I know what I want. But what about big tech? Surely they're not sending us out.
Critics accuse big tech of
We need more minerals.
Amazon-elect that gave reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, but not for Donald Trump. Why should I
We require more minerals.
Provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate. Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris? While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant will be that she is a woman of color who has overcome...
An enemy attack upon our base! Show them no mercy!
That is... I'm not sure how really influential for it to be considered election interference.
We need more minerals. We require more minerals. Not enough.
These terrans know nothing of pain.
Metamorphosis.
I teach
We
them.
spawn more.
For the day.
We require additional overlords.
That's good. That's good.
Not enough minerals.
Sometimes the shit's getting too dumb. Lawsuit or censure, which is just one section of this weekend rally in Pennsylvania strike. Elon Musk was discussing why he supports Donald Trump.
The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment.
Scanner's picking up a void shard near your location. Your objective is to take it out.
My infested will tear it down. I believe the enemy wishes to test our defenses.
His support of free speech is expose the bounty worthy. I guess. But at least The Constitution remains intact. It's there to ensure that we have it.
The Second Amendment is there to ensure that
We need more minerals.
And that's how it's done. Good work. Just gotta do the same to the rest of them. No rest for the righteous. Looks like we've got another set of void shards to deal with.
It's not based on the threat of violence. It's based on elections. Organizing, referendums, a judicial system, our social contract. There's many avenues to remedy these issues and allows sides to be heard and adjudicated. Guns, from what I can tell, seem to mostly protect the speech of the
Our opponent is using cloaked
We
units.
require
We will
more
need
minerals.
detection.
It is a tool of intimidation, and one that I think is actually being irresponsibly and recklessly invoked. Because some people in your crowd thought they might have been shadow banned.
Metamorphosis completed.
In Butler, Pennsylvania.
Evolution complete. Evolution complete.
We share your
Our
structure
allies
for a
are in
time,
combat.
His vision of this country's free speech.
Our forces are under attack. Our allies are in combat. Our allies are in combat.
And another void shard crumbles into dust. Well done, commanders.
Were sometimes frustrating.
There was no other outcome.
Evolution complete. Our allies are in combat. Evolution completed.
Good work on that void shard.
I will see the enemy in hell.
Detecting newly summoned void shards. It's our job to blast them apart.
There was an actual surprise this weekend that I did not see coming.
The company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space.
Evolution complete. Not enough minerals. We need more minerals.
I won a radio contest. I can't believe it. The world's richest man. And people on social media. He's got 200 million followers. You believe it organically on his platform. You know, because of how interesting his tweets are, like things like, and interesting, and FEMA is shutting down airspace to stop people from bringing home. Yeah. He tweets them. These October surprises, he's come out.
As you can see,
the enemy has sent an attack against us.
Dogman, I didn't know it came in flavor. I wonder if for the holidays they'll come out with.
Now I
Our
command the
allies are in
Alexander.
combat.
Pumpkin spice matter.
Chimeran pirates are taking advantage of the chaos to steal precious resources. Shoot those traitors out of the sky if you can.
Now you might think one of the world's richest men controls
Our allies are in combat.
Could be a recipe.
Our forces have met the enemy in combat.
Pirate ship neutralized. Nothing worse than pirates and
Former
traitors.
President Trump alleging Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg will try to unlawfully influence the 2024 election, writing, if he does anything illegal this time,
Metamorphosis
he will spend the rest
completed.
of his life in prison.
He'll be in prison? Falsely promising me a beautiful life, medical. OJS 69 for
Our forces are under attack.
We share your structure for that.
Excellent work, Commanders. That void shard is toast.
We will not rest until the swarm is triumphant.
The enemy has taken an interest in our base.
Our allies are in combat. Metamorphosis. Evolution complete.
Home stretch, Commanders. One more group of shards to go.
Wait, that's not election interference because
Those filthy pirates are trying for another score. Let's lay down the law,
The
Commanders.
Donald Trump biopic, The Apprentice, does not always portray Donald Trump in a flattering light, and the Trump campaign threatened to sue its filmmakers, calling the film pure fiction and election interference.
Oh, come on! That's election interference? It's election interference.
Our forces have met the enemy in combat. Our forces are under attack.
Piracy in the skies above Core Hall? Not on my watch.
It's yeah, you can call it that. That's fine.
Infestation does have its strengths.
Are in combat.
It'll take more than a few void shards to defeat the Dominion.
Kamala Harris. While there are many reasons to vote for
A simple but welcome victory.
that she is a woman of color who has overcome numerous obstacles to become a leader of the faith.
It must be dealt with.
Our allies are in combat. We require more minerals.
Another void shard has been destroyed.
Yes, a
Yeah, that's
clean
fair.
kill.
I was just trying to make the point that that's not
My favorite horror stories are the
Use Alexa
ones
for it.
where the monsters win.
Alexa, could you activate? That's good tech. So, sometimes the shit's even too dumb for me. By the way, none of the stuff that we're talking about is election interference, yet Trump has threatened almost all of them with either imprisonment, lawsuits, or censoring, which is why this one section of this weekend's rally in Pennsylvania was so striking. When Elon Musk was discussing why this.
The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. You must have free speech. in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment.
You know, were you not watching the rest of the show? A movie Trump doesn't like is going to get sued. A tech mogul he doesn't like, he wants to put in prison. It's not free speech if only Trump's admirers get to do it without consequence. I don't see how in support of free speech is expose the belly-worthy. I just don't. But at least the Constitution remains intact and is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
The Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment.
Guns don't protect our free speech. Our free speech is protected by the consent of the governed, laid out through the Constitution.
Listen up, Commanders. We've got a serious level of infestation here, and we need to burn it out stat. These monsters are dangerous at night, but they burn out during the day. That's when we'll torch the infested structures.
Sides to be heard and adjudicated. Guns, from what I can tell, seem to mostly protect the speech of the people holding the gun. It's a tool of intimidation. It is a tool of intimidation, and one that I think is actually being irresponsibly and recklessly
Essence is mine to collect.
Proud thought they might have been shadow banned by Facebook. I mean, for God's sakes, you guys are in Butler, Pennsylvania. The whole reason you're there is because some asshole with an AR-15 tried to permanently litigate his vision of this country's free speech. That's why you're there. The whole point of a society is guns don't decide. I would prefer at this moment not to trade in a government that offers me many remedies for my concerns, legitimate or illegitimate, for a situation where my rights are determined by how many militia members agree with me. And there's a lot of issues we don't agree on. Choice, immigration, your allies are in shrinkflation of snack chips, the unholy marriage of
You have not enough minerals.
But honestly, Dave, country that can adjudicate
detecting more structures at this location.
Overly bureaucratic constitutional system checks and balances. Peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah, I'll take one.
We're almost out of daylight. Once the sun sets, the infested will come knocking on our door.
Still in Mudang to grow up in.
Humphrey is still dealing with the aftermath. Now it looks like there's a sequel on the way that may pull a joke, aka cost a lot more something.
The breaking news, potentially one of the most destructive storms on record.
The sun is down. Defend against the infested until it rises again.
It's a category 5, which is something that I've never heard.
Don't get too bold out there. If our base falls to the infested, this planet will be lost.
Donald, you never heard of a category 5 hurricane?
I've been playing for a while.
They'll pull in your voices and stun them if they aren't dealt with.
While you were president. What did you say after that? Yes. For all you people who believe in mental decline,
You sure you want to do that at night, Commander? The infested will be here any minute.
He must consider which is terrible, because we still haven't cleaned up the fallout from Helene, and not just the flooding and I'm talking about the misinformation. Getting your news from the maternal hurricane of Scott's condo here, you might think that the victims of Hurricane Helene have been completely
Like the
affected.
hustle. But I advise against it, Commanders. It'll be easier to take out the structures in the daytime.
Republican area. They haven't seen anybody from the federal government yet. The federal government isn't there.
The sleepy ghost federal government has left Republican voters out to dry just because of their party affiliations. Now, These Republican governors of those states must be outraged. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, tell the world what you'll see.
Your allies are in rapid response to cooperation from the federal team
That's a deep state Democratic form. Tennessee and Florida and Georgia, you guys are the real red states. Your governors will dish on how slow the federal government's response has been.
I live.
All right.
Your allies are in battle.
Let me get this right. So
The night's almost over. We'll be safe to move out again in the daytime.
Helping them. Here's what's happening here. Either Trump has been lucky, or every governor has been seduced by the sexual power of Joe Biden's slow, confused smoke.
Your allies are in battle.
That's a smile.
Time to get to work. We have to burn away enough of the infestation before the day ends. Start with the structures I've marked.
But Trump isn't the only one spreading misinformation. Conservative media is spreading lies that FEMA is diverting resources to Ukraine, that Jews in the government are secretly sabotaging aid, and the biggest conspiracy of all, that the hurricane was deliberate.
Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene posting on X, yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it cannot be done.
Whatever happened to the good old days? And conservatives believe sensible things.
Looks like we can find additional structures here.
God, who was pissed off by gay marriage. What happened? Did God go to a really nice gay wedding in Cabo and pass off hurricane duties to Chuck Schumer? You know what? I was against it. And when I saw Bruce Harry take those vows, it's only bad for my sakes. That was. Crazy conspiracy theories are harmless. They spread paranoia that is already desperate. We're starting to see the effect.
We talked to people who believe that there were federal officials who were seizing a town called Chimney Rock, North Carolina, that there was this conspiracy to seize the town and to bulldoze all the bodies and hide them, maybe to mine it for lithium.
Do you see what's happening? People are afraid those who are coming to help are going to steal their lithium. Let's be clear. The U.S. government doesn't destroy towns to steal their resources. In the U.S., in the Middle East, sure. This misinformation distracts from the fact that there are real people in the disaster zone. And this heartbreaking photo of this little girl and her puppy beneath everyone suffering. No. These photos
Looks like the sun's about to set. Get ready for nightfall.
Are not real. They were made with AI.
Your allies are in battle.
Trucking is happening in 2024, which means on top of all the misinformation from politicians, we also have to deal with the flood.
Another night, another fight. Keep them out of our base. You sure you want to do that at night, commanders? The infested will be here any minute.
Because it's a
incoming hunterlings. They're cliff jumpers, so watch out.
Your allies are in battle.
You have to spend time learning how to spot AI.
This is how we figured out this photo was AI generated. You can count that there are 6 fingers.
Don't get too bold out there. If our base falls to the infested, this planet will be lost.
In this guy's nose, which obviously is not big.
We face corrupt enemies. Beware.
I think we can all agree it was worth it. Less than a month ago, both campaigns are going wrong. Starting with Democratic nominee. News shows, daytime talk shows, satellite radio, podcasts.
I'm seeing the infested gather at one of the barricades. I like the hustle, but I'd advise against it, commanders. It'll be easier to take out the structures in the daytime.
This media blitz is not a moment too soon, because voters are looking for change. Kamala needs to articulate what she's of change. So, let's see her answer.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? There is not a thing that
gas. Awaiting
Sure you want to do that at night, Commanders? The infested will be here any minute.
Continuing the Biden legacy.
Your allies are in battle.
Are you kidding me? Amon wants to attack us now too? Perfect.
Joe Biden and me will validate the differences.
I like the hustle, but I'd advise against it, Commanders. It'll be easier to take out the structures in the daytime.
Sneaky move.
We're making good progress, but there's still a lot of infestation to go.
You know?
Don't give up, Commanders. This nightmare is about to end.
She loved that. She wasn't going too far in trying to appeal to
Sunrise. That's our cue to move. We won't have enough time later if we destroy too few structures today.
And obviously she gets that.
Research complete.
You have my support. You have my...
Your allies are in battle.
Reaches out to the public. The Republican opponent, Donald Trump, has been sitting down with the podcast. Because there's more of a freewheeling conversation there that allows you really dig deep into the issues.
I'm ready for him. You are. Your allies are in When you put the names together, it's a limit. You got to be able to pure.
It's nice to see how reflective Trump is becoming in battle. Looking back on everything, I wonder, did Tip on Tim have enough cure? The Trump campaign has brought up very special concerns. Melania Trump, former First Lady, the oldest to be released the name of the top of her head. Let's see a lot of Melania. She's also been on media tours. Fox News, social media, your kid's piano recital.
Your allies are in battle.
No. She's out there because she's a supportive wife who believes in her husband's America First. I'm with you. She had the book to sell. You know, people make a lot of jokes about this marriage. When I look at their shared love of exploiting our political system to sell shit for personal profit, I just see two soulmates.
Your allies are in battle.
Sending you the coordinates for more structures.
We have a copy here.
The day's gonna end soon, Commanders.
That's in her book. I want to read you a quick passage just to give you a feel for Israel, page 78, month after he won the 2016 election.
Your allies are in battle.
Prepares to go down to the office on Wednesday morning. He and I had a private moment. Congratulations.
Here come the infested. We have to hold them off until sunrise. Don't get too bold out there. If our base falls to the infested, this planet will be lost. Looks like there's a viral phage among the infested. Might be a good idea to kill it, but we can only do that at night.
I gotta wipe away a tear.
Don't worry if you can't kill the virophage tonight. Sure, it'll be back tomorrow.
Wasn't created by
You'll have to defend that barricade if it's gonna stay standing. One of our barricades is being hit hard.
An interesting personal tidbit about her.
You just saved me a lot of trouble, Commanders. I was gonna send a crew to exterminate that thing after this mission.
That's a steamy image. Just imagine that scene, folks, under the covers, dressed only in a glowing red tie. Melania says, you are naked in bed. He says, wow. Inflation has been a major headache for America the past few years. But for those of you who like paying less, your allies are in battle. Today brought some welcome.
New economic inflation just today. We have our newest inflation number. Annual inflation rate now is 2.6%, according to the consumer price index.
Stan? Those things are resistant to sunlight. We have to be the ones to kill it. Amon's supporting the infested with his own forces. It's gonna be a long night.
Inflation is getting pretty close to the Fed's target level of 2%, which was chosen because of course, good news for the Harris economy is bad news for Donald Trump, who is campaigning against the Biden
We can do this, Commanders. It's almost sunrise.
Don't
Don't get too bold out there. If our base falls to the infested, this planet will be lost.
We are a nation whose economy is collapsing into a cesspool of ruin.
353,000 jobs were added. The Main Street firing on all cylinders here.
The economy has just been reported to be doing very badly. Your allies are in battle.
Best since January 2022.
Joins us.
Remarkably well.
Your allies are in battle.
Nightmare. Look at that spike in consumer staples. Everything's looking great here.
You require more Christmas
The
gas.
blue chips make history for the 4th straight day.
It's the worst economy that we've ever had.
Not done yet, Commanders. Here's some more structures to burn out.
The economy is improving.
Bad economy says what? What? Now look, in Trump's defense, just because the numbers are good doesn't mean people are investing. Just the other day, I saw one very desperate American buying everything he owns for $7.
Your allies are in battle.
So sad. While improving economy is a boost to Kamala Harris, she's got another big problem on her hands.
What is becoming a growing concern among Democrats.
My scans show that half of the infestation is gone. We can do this.
Male voters.
Among men, surely men are open-minded about having a female president. But, hang on, let me check something. Let me see. All right, here. Okay.
I've got another sector with structures on my scanners.
There's a reason why America has the same number of female presidents.
Don't go out too far. There isn't much time left in the day.
For a woman, it makes you that type of person is on TV.
No real man
have engaged the enemy.
vote for Kamala Harris.
I don't see why any man
Your allies are in
that
battle.
person has mommy issues, or they're just trying to be accepted by other women.
I vote like real
I knew the infestation was bad. This is crazy. Hold them off. You sure you want to do that at night, Commanders? The infested will be here any minute.
Men and the angry women around them, like that's the
Republicans are the party of real men, real tough men who are strong and love America and won't back down. Hate Democrat-run cities because they're so big, scary people.
Your allies are in battle. Carrier has arrived.
I like the hustle, but I'd advise against it, Commanders. It'll be easier to take out the structures in the daytime.
You're a man who votes for a woman with penis. And then you just walk out of the voting booth with a smooth ride.
Most of the infestation has been dealt with. Just a little more to go.
It's wrong, real men. It's so calculated that not only did it get women love masculinity, and women do not love Tim Walz. So that should just tell you about how masculine Tim Walz is.
Tim Walz is trying to basically redefine what masculinity is.
He's like the song.
Tim Walz dancing around on the stage. It's not someone who allies are in this
Here's Twitchy Tim on stage, waving profusely in a very unsettling manner. Very unsettling.
You sure you want to do that at night, Commanders? The infested will be here any minute.
Move this way. The other day you saw him with a tomato ice cream that tells you everything. Real men don't drink milkshakes with a straw. You crawl your way into a pile of drink from the inside. The milkshake that licked the remains of your hands.
Looks like Amon wants a piece of us too. Get those defenses in place.
Don't have opinions about the right of picnic in the middle of the day.
Your allies are in battle.
It really shows you how much they love your warriors are engaged.
Don't get too bold out there. If our base falls to the infested, this planet will be lost. The infested can attack us all they want. Soon, it's gonna be our turn.
You know, the bunch of manly men you guys
Your allies are in battle.
Let's get to work, Commander. We have to burn enough of the infestation today so that we don't fall behind.
That some of the shots they're taking might be hitting one particular target they didn't mean to.
Certainly wouldn't want strong
Your allies are in battle.
woke guys that, you know, focus more on their hair.
I'm just checking out the hairstylist.
Our forces fall.
Having personal responsibility.
January 6th. Is there anything you wish to
Your
It
allies
has
are in
nothing to
battle.
do with that. The hug is not the way you hug your wife. You know, you hug your wife from the body. You don't hug her like this. This Twitchy Tim on stage, waving profusely in a very unsettling manner. Men should not move this way.
That's the last of it. The planet's saved, Commanders, and we have you to thank.
Don't listen to those meanings. Nothing is more manly than your dance moves, Donnie. Nothing.
I hope you've all registered to vote, because like Matt Gates at a high school dance, the election is ominously approaching. I, for one, am excited with 20... I hope you've all registered to vote, because like Matt Gates at a high school dance, the election